Hi, gang. This is Dinah and you're listening to Burlesque Unlaced, where we talk about the latest drama, deliberations, and dilemmas within the world of burlesque. I'm just popping in at the start of this episode, and if you're watching over on YouTube, you're getting quality cat content here. Um, just to introduce, so this is the second part of a conversation we had with Joona Bae while we were in Strasbourg. Essentially, while we were chatting, we got onto a different topic. We decided to make it a different episode, but obviously that does mean it's not really got an intro. So I'm literally jumping into intro that, and we are talking about act creation and getting feedback. So it's just a wee short one. I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for listening to us. We super appreciate it. And I'll catch you on the next one. You want to finish a minute talking about that?
Actuation is really hard
Yes.
because burlesque is often a very solo medium.
Yep.
And I don't know what the act creation process is like, again, over the pond. But in the States, there are some classes that you sign up for like an 8-week course,
Mhm.
and you have a mentor that with a class of other students who also develop an act with you.
Yep. Yeah.
And then there's a showcase at the end.
Yeah.
That's one format that I got to experience in Chicago. But the other format, and that's how most people do it, is you kind of work with an act on your own, maybe get some ISOT feedback, and then you put it onto a stage. But pitching an act that is brand new is really hard, especially for experienced performers, because at least newbies have a specific formatted show that they can apply to with
there are dedicated spaces.
Yes, whereas it's harder for, I think, people that are in the middle management. They producing a show, or you don't have a place to showcase new stuff.
Yep.
Where you can bring something new that might not be the best act.
Yeah.
But you're just, fleshing your own piece out.
So I think Glasgow, we go the opposite way. We have far too many scratch nights.
Oh yeah.
And scratch nights are open to anyone. So you can take a new act and you can do it. We don't have enough paid gigs. We have plenty of scratch nights. But I also have my local regular gig that you know as well because you've done is Riding Rooms. Paul doesn't book me for a particular act. Paul books me. I get to decide what 2 acts I take.
Amazing.
Yeah,
So he just takes you and he's like, whatever you want to do. So I can do a new act. I can do improv if I want. Like, Puppet doesn't care. In the nicest way, he knows that I'm a good performer and he knows that I'll deliver.
it's a bar show, so like
and it's a
every
bar
act
show.
works there. So.
Yeah, so you kind of have to know what you're doing. So I probably have a fair amount of space to actually try new acts out. My problem is actually getting decently paid gigs.
I have a question for both of you. When you put on a new act onto a stage, do you consider getting feedback from other people, or?
So I record it.
Okay.
Yeah. I always record it. And then I will think about if I want to. We send stuff to each other.
We do.
But I will also consider if I want to have like a one-to-one feedback session with someone, like a paid act development.
Yeah.
In which case I will send them that video and then have like a call.
Yeah. If I haven't done, I like doing courses. And I think in London there's a lot of burlesque schools. So a lot of people's first act comes through like a course. But then like for the Soho School of Burlesque, there's a lot of established artists who will come back and keep doing these act creation courses. Because the way that Evelyn teaches it, it's not like this is how you take off a glove. It's like this is how you create your art and how to get it out of your.
Yeah.
It's very much developing those skills rather than just giving you an act.
And everyone's process is different, right? I mean, you and I talked last night about how your music first, I'm concept first, and
I used to say I was music first, and I was thinking about this the other week. I'm actually concept first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Pleasantville was a concept first.
Oh yeah, Pleasantville was a concept first.
I get the concept from the music. When I say music first, it's not like I go, oh, I'm going to do an act to this song. I listen to music 24/7. If I'm not in my house or like having a conversation or a park, I've always got my headphones in. I constantly have music playing. And sometimes I'll be listening to a song and I'll be like a bit of choreography or a concept. That's how I came up with my werewolf. It was during lockdown when we were only allowed to go out for an hour a day. And I was out for my hourly walk at like 11:30 at night, and White Snake Still of the Night was playing, and I was like 80s werewolf, and then like bits of I listened to it on repeat while I was on that walk, and I had half an act conceptualized in my head.
And did you bang that against anyone else for feedback when you had an idea?
I spoke to my friends.
Okay.
But the idea, actually, the act is not that different to the original. I actually found the sketch that I drew of the concept for the costume and the look of it. And apart from the top changing from white to black, the actual costume as it is now, 3-4 years later, is much the same as the very first idea that I had of it. And that's just kind of, it makes it a fucking nightmare, because if I was commissioned to do, if someone's like, I want you to do an act about XYZ, or I want you to do an act of this song, I'm like, I can do it, but it's harder to try and bend something where the idea has not come out organically. Because I'll just be listening to the music and
I'll have
those anchor moments will just formulate in my head, and the aesthetic will formulate in my head.
You mentioned a story last night about specifically starting out with one song and having to change it to a different song. And I mean, that is a hard reset for you.
It was a good decision. It was a learning curve. I did the House Burlesque course with Tempest Rose. It was my Ice Queen act, and it used to be to a Britney Spears song. Anyone who saw the one time will be like, oh. And Tempest was like, the concept's good, the costume's beautiful. She was like, I think the choreography's good. She was just like, the song isn't working for you. And I was like, so that's the whole thing had come out of, now it's Led Zeppelin Immigrant Song, and it's much better. But at the time, and it was a short course, that one. It was 6 weeks, and only the final 3 where we talked through stuff, and we showed some stuff on week 2. But literally we had 4 weeks to actually work on the act. And thank God I already had the costume and kind of the choreography, because having to find a new song, that's not a process.
Cut and splice it if it's not long enough.
And I don't work like that. I don't have a concept and then go and research and try and find a song. I have the song from the beginning. That's where the idea came out of. So that was it was a good challenge.
To be fair, that was a good challenge, but it was also a really short amount of time to come up with an act. I feel like when it comes to act development and creation, for me, sometimes it is a years long process. My fan act that I'll be doing in Vancouver, that was a year and a half in development before I put it onto a stage. The idea percolating, I knew the song, I knew the concept, but I had to wait for it to be ready before I was able to bring it onto a stage.
Well, that's like Baby Bell. I had that idea at the 2024 Mile High Burlesque Festival. Flight home, got the idea, sat on it. It didn't come out until August last year, so it was a year and a half. But I did the Betty Bombshell's development course on that, because I knew that if I didn't have a kick up the arse, that act was not getting on a stage.
And having someone, I'm guessing like Betty Bombshell's feedback, probably helped elevate that.
Yes. It helped develop it quicker, because otherwise, if I had done it myself, I would have got recordings, and then I would have got feedback, and I would have made changes, and it would have taken longer to get where it is.
That's the fastest I've ever done an act from start to finish. And that's because my costume was secondhand, so I had the costume, and I was like, I need it. So again, it was that opposite to how I usually work.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need a song to go with it, and I need, I was like, I don't think it needs classic, my version of classic strip, but
I mean, all words are made up. All words are made up. I feel like the definition of classic varies on the region that you're in, and I might classify something as classic, but other people might classify as neo.
When I say classic, I mean it's a straight up strip piece. It's not a character piece. It's not a political piece. It's just strip for the sake of it. But that's the quickest I've ever done an act from start to finish.
What about you? Do you how do you do it with feedback and stuff? You're asking us.
Depends on the act. The Boy Humboldt act that I did at Strasbourg last night, that came through an act development course, 8 weeks with Lady Ginger in Chicago. And we got to debut it in June, and I made my festival debut within September. So that one, I had recurring feedback with different performers who sometimes pass through town or are regional to that city, to get additional outside feedback from people. But I also study my own footage. I change a thing or two whenever I bring it onto a festival stage to make it fit better, so that I don't get bored with it. But with my fan act, that didn't go through a course. That one was a straight up solo development, I had one mentor that came in, I want to say about 70% of the development in, so that I can flesh out the remainder of the fan choreo, because I didn't feel like I had the body movement language to make fans work, and I wanted to work with someone who knew how to work with fans. So I did most of the development on my own before I was able to bring in someone for that.
Yeah.
And then after debuting it onto a stage, I also had a one-on-one to hash out any specific rough edges that I needed to be polished before I can bring it onto more festival stages.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on the act, depends on where I'm at, depends on my headspace, depends on a solo versus a group act. The group act that I'm currently developing, which is for K-pop Demon Hunter, it's a splice of the song where the performers kind of come back together at the end.
Yep.
Into Golden. It's about a 4.5-minute song with two other Korean burlesque performers. One who is based in Calgary, one who's based in Toronto, and I'm based in New York. But that act, we ended up just spending a weekend where we had about 6 hours of rehearsal time. So I'm getting emotional because it's like where we just hammered out the choreo and our character and concept pretty much in a singular weekend. It was just a boot camp. And in the US, as far as I know, I'm the only Korean immigrant performer. And in Chicago, there's maybe 2 other Asian burlesque performers. So I came in not really knowing what was possible for me.
Yeah.
And then I met Azalea. She came to New Mexico last year. And then I met Edamame, based in Calgary, when I went to do Alberta Burlesque Rodeo in Calgary. And I was like, I can either do this golden act alone, or I can do it with other people.
Yeah.
And character fits. I'm Rumi.
Cute.
Aza's Zoe. And we all just got together and fleshed out something that was really meaningful. And I feel like currently, I feel like I'm the twilight of my career right now.
You've said this a few times.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the twilight of my career, and seeing these 2 incredibly talented, beautiful, amazing American performer or the Korean performers who I want to prop up and elevate and say, hey, I'm stepping back, but here are 2 great Korean performers that you can now follow and celebrate and cherish because they are incredible.
Yeah.
That felt like a very different process than doing it alone.
Yeah.
So to go back to your earlier question, it really depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is a year and a half.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is a weekend.
Yeah.
And the thing about working on a group choreography is like, because we all come from different backgrounds. Edamame comes from like a very acro pole background. Aza comes from a very much more like artistic, visual perspective. And I found out that I'm much more of a showgirl, which I would not have ever qualified to do my burlesque, but apparently I'm a showgirl. And we all got to like showcase little bits of what our individual strengths were, while still staying true to each of our characters. And that wasn't something that I have ever experienced before. Like when I did my 8-week course before my solo debut, there was an instructor who taught us choreography, and we just had to pick it up. When I was doing my solo stuff, I was on my own. I was in charge of developing my stuff while getting some feedback and making adjustments. But when it came to a group choreography where we all came from a different background and figuring out what we liked and what we didn't like, and what stuck and what didn't stick, was a wild experience.
You do group choreography quite a lot.
We do, yeah, because I'm part of the coven. There's a couple of acts where like I've choreographed it and it's just my piece, and that's I just teach
And you
it.
teach it.
I am always open to, I'm like, if stuff doesn't work for people's bodies, or if I'm like, I don't know what to do, I'm not sold on this piece, give me suggestions. I'm never like, no, it's this.
Yeah.
But there was a piece that we did for like a horror themed show, and it was an idea that Miss Gina Collada, who's quite like horror-esque, she's awesome. She had this idea of like a cult sacrifice initiation ritual thing. Gina does not live in London anymore. She's up in Newcastle. So she's not physically with the rest of the group to come and do sort of rehearsals and things.
Yeah.
I've got more of a dance background as well. So it was one of these things where we kind of collaborated. And that was such an interesting and difficult process for me because, again, it was not my creative idea as such. I didn't pick the music, I didn't pick the concept. Me and Gina had like a Zoom meeting where we talked through like what's the narrative here.
Yeah.
And she wanted a bit of like a contemporary dance vibe to it, which is like my background.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to translate her ideas into choreography whilst also being respectful to like what she wanted it to be, and then also teach it to the group.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a really interesting process, and it was very hard. Then my reward to myself was doing the 80s hair metal number, which I did choreography and costumes for. Because I was like, I need a palette cleanse from all this intense gothic shit. But yeah, that was that was like a commission almost. You're working with someone else who's like, here are my ideas, I need you to make it.
Well, as it sounds like the three of you were more like
collaborative.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I do think we've talked about feedback before just on acts. I think getting feedback on act is valuable. I think knowing who to go to, like you talked about, you wanted to get better fans, so you went to someone that is good at fans. I think knowing what your act is and who to get feedback from is really valuable as well.
Yeah, I mean, there are also some like really bad feedback. Like I remember when I was first developing my circumcision number, I got a feedback from someone that I thought would be a good person to get a feedback from, and they steered me in an incredibly weird direction.
Yeah.
That at the time I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to do a Pee Wee Herman my circumcision number. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah. I'll still pay you for your time. I'll put that into a bucket. Maybe you'll be a different act that I'll bring at a different time. But like, it is a really hard process involving someone else into your act
because it's showing it's as I said before, it's bathing your soul.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter if it's a comedy act or if it's something highly sensitive or political or meaningful, it's still yours.
Mm-hmm.
You've still put your heart and soul into creating that, and then giving it to someone and being like, can you tell me what you think of that?
And it depends on where the act is in terms of like maturation cycle.
Yeah.
We talked about this when we did Betty's.
Fuck it.
When she was like, I want a rough draft of choreography week 1. And we were like, no, nobody ever see it.
No, I was like, no, how we could sit back up. Sorry. Yeah. Like, no.
But it puts you through a gauntlet, a crucible of developing what that was like.
Yeah.
And it builds muscle memory for you to be able to develop acts in the future.
Crack as well.
And the feedback was very kindly and very constructively given. Like Betty gives good feedback.
It was
not as brutal as we thought, but the actual process of going, have this, nobody's ever meant to see this thing.
But I feel like there are some acts where I straight up tell my, the one-on-one instructor, hey, be rough with me. Tell me straight. Yeah. Like when I get any feedback about my boy Hamburg act, because even though it has been in 9 6 of it international, I still want feedback that knocks me out of my own comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like I want someone outside to look at that act and tell me to shift or change something up. Because if I'm stuck into a groove and if I'm just stuck doing a number and not engaging with my audience, that's not enjoyable for anyone.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you're seeking feedback, you know that there's something about it that you want to. You're like, there's something here. Something can be better. I want your opinion on it. How can I make it better? It's still scary, making yourself vulnerable like that.
Yeah.
No, I've been thinking about that. So with Thunderstruck, that was never through a course or anything. I actually created it for a burlesque theme dance show before I ever started doing proper burlesque. So I did it once. It was a hot mess.
But it stuck.
But it stuck, that's the thing. And once I'd done a course, knew how to construct an act, started to think, actually, I want to perform. I was like, I liked the idea and the concept of this. just not the execution. And then during lockdown, I did one-to-one with Wild Vixen, who she's quite like a rocky performer in the UK. She was like,
That was a perfect mentor.
she was a perfect mentor. And actually, the act has not changed fundamentally since that session. It's evolved and it's improved, but the actual, most of the choreography is much the same. The overall vibe of it is much the same. All of the elements have stayed the same. It's just grown from there. And I've had, I think I had a one-to-one with Evelyn just before I did Hollywood, with the view of this is a competition, we need to, and that was like the brutal feedback. I was like, don't be gentle with me, we need to work here.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, that one's actually mostly just been me watching my videos and reviewing things. Doing it in competitions, obviously I get feedback there.
Yeah.
I have been thinking, I'm never happy with anything, and then I get very detail oriented as well. I'm like, I'm at the stage where I'm like, it's a good act, it's never perfect, but it's like literally what are the things we can just tweak. But I'm also scared of giving it to someone that I've not had feedback from before, in case they're like, change this, change this, change this, because it's so.
Both of you excellent performers though, because you're constantly seeking to improve. Like the more we've got to know each other, you're fucking, you'll be like, I'm meant to be in my taxis, but I'm actually auditing an act and looking at my hand, and I'm like, oh, swear to God, this was a couple of weeks ago.
This is a legit conversation. She's not even
not even. And I was sitting there going, no, I was like, do the taxis bus. I was playing the Sims. Yeah. Like I was not auditing my act, right? And I think something that we will talk about a later date more in depth, I think. But the commitment it takes to get to the level that you guys are at, because you guys are excellent. I am a good performer. You guys are excellent.
You are also an excellent performer. Yes, yes, you are.
But the level of commitment that you guys have to your art form, you're constantly up leveling. You're constantly looking at what you can do better. These are the things that people don't realize, that to get to the places that we're all going to, that's the kind of work you have to put in. And you have to be critical of yourself. You have to seek that feedback. You have to be doing all that work. And that's the stuff that people don't see.
What's like I was saying to you when I was rehearsing my Red act recently with a friend, and there's a moment where I like slide down into the splits.
Oh yeah.
Bad at pointing my back foot. And I was like, can you yell at me to get that foot in the right position? And they're like, nobody's looking at how fucking foot pointed your back foot is. And I was like, they are.
But it does matter.
It matters, because if it is, and you get that photo moment and it's right, and if it's not, that is the difference.
Those are the details of that makes you an elevated performer.
Exactly. It's fine if it's not, but it's great if it is there.
Yeah, but to go back to the point that you just made about the unseen work, there's a lot of that in burlesque.
Yeah.
Like when I rhinestone my gloves, I don't always put that onto the socials.
No.
I just post, oh, this is where I began, this is where I ended, if that.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like getting act feedback, I don't post about that on social media. I just get my individual feedback, and I take that and I harness it and improve my act.
Yeah. And like you said, the act auditing and the self-review, I do that, hours and hours of that every single week. I'm constantly, I'll just pull up a video and watch it and be like, what's working, what's not working, what can we like. Of course, I don't post that on social media because that's boring.
Yeah.
And also people will be like, you're insane.
You are insane.
I just run my number in my head.
I do that.
Especially if I'm on my flight.
Yeah. I have my act playlist.
Like on the train from Paris to Strasbourg for a 2.5 hour train ride. I just listen to my music on
I have a playlist with all my acts. That's actually probably the thing I listen to the most, unless I'm trying to develop a new act. And yeah, I'll be like thinking through it, and then sometimes I'll come up with little tweaks.
But I have like my on mode and my off mode.
Yeah.
Like when I'm on, I'm very intentionally and intensely on. And then when I'm off, I'm off.
Yeah.
Like
he doesn't know how to be
I
off.
don't have off.
I'm a parent to a 6-year-old, and I have to be off for certain months. My daughter takes priority over everything else in the world. And I get her for summer and a couple of breaks throughout the year. And so when I'm with her, I don't really think about burlesque.
Yeah.
Because she takes priority.
Yeah.
And when she's back home, then I can start like thinking about burlesque. And I can start like leveling up whatever I need to bring. So summer, winter, this past winter at least, I didn't do anything with burlesque.
Yeah.
It just sat. I scheduled my posts out on Instagram.
Which we all do.
You're smart.
And I like scheduled all of it out.
So many times.
Look, this is something you and I have in common. We're both planners.
Yeah, we are.
But like I had it scheduled out, but I didn't work.
Undiagnosed ADHD with an ADHD husband. We're just like, I need assistance.
Look, we have that. But like I had specific off time where I didn't even think about doing burlesque.
Yeah.
I had to have that off
Mhm.
couple of months.
I've had to do like I've had family stuff going on. So like the past over Christmas. Pretty much like I did my last gig in December on the 7th. And pretty much I had intended on doing things over Christmas here. And then that got blown out of the water with family stuff. And that's still kind of ongoing. So burlesque has had to take a bit more of a backseat in my life because I'm having to focus on other things. I'm still a pianist, but I'm not rehearsing a lot and I'm not like working on new posture or whatever. I'm just trying to like focus on doing the gigs I've got booked and dealing with the other stuff that I have in my life. And sometimes that happens.
And that's just life.
It's just
Yeah.
life.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you have to put on different hats.
We have about 40 because we're performers.
Promoter, the model,
And I produced
producer.
So much.
And
Yeah,
up.
I was going to say, speaking of, you have a fan class to run off to. We have lunch. And we have lunch to go
Yeah,
to.
we do.
So thank you so much, everyone. We've just ignored you the whole fucking time. This has been a lot of fun. We're gonna go have lunch and probably have more of these conversations, just not recorded. And this one's awaited.
It's show day.
Show day.
Yeah, show day. She's opening tonight.
But,
I cannot wait to watch you perform. It's gonna be such a good.
it's gonna be amazing. But no, thank you so much for listening. We have our free Patreon where there will probably be bloopers at some point because there's so many. And follow Joona on Instagram.
Joona Bae on Instagram, JOONABAE.
And see all the wonderful things they're doing. Buy tickets for Clandestine, even though this goes out after Valentine's Day. There's always Clandestine shows. And we love you and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.